Hey guys, so this is my first video, and today I wanted to talk about the topic of white supremacy. Um, I'm a 19-year-old and I live in Europe, and I just wanted to talk on my experiences with white supremacy and how I have kind of been able to observe it better and get a better understanding through watching YouTube videos from black people have made on YouTube. Now we know that white supremacy is the belief that white people are the supreme, and we know that I don't know if you guys know this, but white supremacy can bear any face. They can be white, obviously. The the name white supremacy, it's in there. They can be black, they can be Indian, they can be Hispanic, Latino, whatever. They it is a mindset. It is a mindset and a mentality that white is supreme and that there's nothing better than white, and whatever is white is right, and whatever white people say is the gospel and whatever. So moving from different countries in Europe, I have been able to really witness how white people are really not different. They majority of white people do not have um different mindsets or different mentality. It is I've really seen their mentality is really the same. And I just wanted to point out a YouTuber that I watch, and her name is Cynthia G, and she has really, really good videos. I just wanted to talk about how she is so right on how white supremacists have the same ideas and mentalities. Now, I remember I was talking to an associate, and this girl is white, and we were talking about the topic of racism and slavery and all of that. And I was so excited to have this conversation because she is an associate. So I was trying to bring up this conversation, and whenever I did try to bring up before, she would kind of like brush it off and say, let's talk about something else. So I was happy that I got a chance to talk about it and see where her viewpoint is. Now, she told me that she was not a racist, that she was different. Okay. So when we were talking, all she was basically doing was defending white people and saying, and when I would say majority of white people think this way, think with a white supremacist mentality, she would try and defend them and say, no, not all white people are this. Do you mean these kind of white people or this kind of white people? I'm just like, it doesn't matter what kind of white people. Majority of white people are the same. And she would bring up the idea that, well, what about what black people do? What about what black people like? It's like it's black people's fault that their people are being racist to them, and black people cause what happened to them. And whenever I would talk about slavery or talk about the things that black people have experienced in the past hundreds and hundreds of years, she would try to brush it off and say, well, let's not talk about history. But I told her, but how can we not talk about history? Because what happened in history is affecting today, so there's no way that you can avoid talking about history. And I was kind of like, this girl is funny. Like, she's really funny. Like, but to be honest, I was surprised. And I try not to get emotional because she did ask me, is this an emotional topic? And I was just like, wow. I'm not surprised, but I am like, this is really crazy because there's certain like things I want to talk about her reaction. Like there's certain things I want to talk about her reaction, and when I did tell her it was an emotional topic, obviously there's no way to circumvent like someone having an emotional reaction. Some people will have an emotional reaction. Some black people will, and I was just like, how can it not be an emotional topic? It's affecting people's lives. Like every day, black people have to experience some form of microaggression, of racism, and or passive aggressiveness of racism that comes from racism or stems from racism, which is racism, or they have to deal with the white supremacist like her. And another thing I want to point out that she did, I could see the psychopathic mentality coming from her, because every time I pointed out something, because I am really well researched and well versed on the topic of racism and black people's struggles wherever they are in America, in Africa, and Europe. I am well versed on well, I wouldn't say I'm like I know everything, but I have a lot of knowledge in my head about all these topics. And whenever you could see in her face, or like whenever I did want to stand up and say, well, I'm trying to find a solution, and I would tell her that we need to separate from you people, because it's you people that started it. It was your ancestors, and it was your ancestors that started all of this crap. And the only way I see it, because integration didn't work, the civil rights movement didn't work, intercultural relationships aren't working. I mean, intercultural, I call them intercultural, but people say interracial. Interracial relationships don't work. So the only solution that I see is separation from you people, because, and then she was like, no, 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 no. And I was just like, well, we haven't even tried it. What are you talking about? And she was like, that's not going to work. I was like, really? And then I could just see the obsession. She just, like, it just brought her out of her, you know, how white people are very, they say they're very quiet and all that kind of stupid stuff, that they're not. They're just really, like, sly and quiet um, in their racism or whatever, or all their psychopathicness, if that's a word. um, and you could just see her come out of that psychopathic shell. Her eyes were twitching, and I noticed when I was saying we need to separate from white people and black people need to like come together. Well, I wasn't saying that, but I was just saying we need to separate from you guys, and white people need to stay where they are. Like white people need to stay together, and black people need to stay together, and whatever needs to stay together. And you could just see, oh, that's not going to work. That's never ever going to work. I was like, well, we've never tried it. We've never tried it. So how do you know that? And it just blew me away, because, well, it didn't blow me away because I wasn't surprised, but just seeing how a psychopathic white person behaves, and to see that up close and personal, like one-on-one, like I was like like the person who was diagnosing the psychopathic person. I was just like, damn, I'm like, if I thought I was scared of, like, if I thought I was scared of white people before, I'm really scared now, because I feel like black people don't take their sick mentality of racism, they don't take it serious enough. And you really, guys, you really need to take it seriously, because it's not a joke. It's really, really not. They really do not take this as a joke, and we should not take this as a joke. Now, what I really wanted to talk about in this video is that black people, Black people in Europe, Black people in America, Black people in Africa, they see us as all the same. If a Black person in Europe moved to America, that person would automatically be seen as a Black person in America, like by white people in America. They would treat you the same as they treat the Black people who lived in America for ages, and vice versa for all the other places. Now, I feel like Black people shouldn't unite in America, Black people shouldn't unite in Africa, and Black people should unite in Europe. And I was having a conversation with my friend who is from Nigeria, and he was telling me how a certain country needed to unite in Africa. And I was telling him, but don't you think that Black people as a whole in Africa need to unite? And he was telling me how if we were to start building nations as we once did before white people came and disrupted our history, our great legacy, then why would you think that we would need white people to build anything again? Because he was suggesting that we try and partner with some white companies. And I told him, but what do you think white people are doing right now? Like, they are partnering with greedy Black people in Africa, and they are currently destroying and stripping Africa of all its resources and contents and minerals and gold and silver. The solution is not to partner with any white person or any white person who says they're good or whatever. If that white person is a good person, they are going to want separation because they see that it's not a good thing for Black people and white people to be together. It really, really disgusts me how some Black people who do have this mentality of let us unite, but they still have the mentality of we need white people. Like, we don't need white people. And it really, 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 really irks me. Like, it really irks me that some Black people feel like they need white people. We don't. Can you tell I'm frustrated? Because I am. I just can't. But I feel like the Blacks in Europe don't really have a voice, or they don't speak up enough on social media. And I just wanted to give a voice to Black European, like, not Black Europeans, because I can't even put Black and Europe together. But and let me tell you, Black people were the ones to build up Europe, not white people. Let me just tell you that, okay? Have you heard of the Moors? Go research, okay? Anyways, I'll talk about that in future videos, but I feel like we need to have like this global Black conference, the way that they have those conferences on us, like countries like France, Europe, Spain. They have conferences on Black people, like on Black people's, talking about Black people's melanin, like scientists from all these countries. In Europe, they have these conversations on Black people's melanin, and they do not even invite any Black scientists to the conference since it started who knows how many years ago. I'm not sure on that, but they have never ever once invited a Black scientist to that conference. And when it's only white people, it's something, and then they're talking about us and trying to understand us. It's gonna be, it's stirring up evil. Whatever they're cooking in that conference is evil, and you best believe that they're probably going to tie it to like something like Christianity, because that's how they that's how I can't think of the word. That's how they that's how they, I'm trying to think of the word, guys, but that's how they made slavery seem like it was okay. But I feel like the solution for us now is to have a global Black conference where people who like really speak up on Black issues and white supremacy and racism and the white mentality and whiteism and all of that, I feel like the Black YouTubers should have a global conference and have like only Black, of course, only Black, have Black, it's Black people, and I really feel like that's one step forward, and that's one step forward to our greatness and our great legacy, and continue the legacy that was interrupted by white people. I really feel like this is a good idea. I don't know if anyone, one of those Black YouTubers will listen to my video, but I just really, really needed to talk about this and just try and input my own ideas. And I hope to continue talking about white supremacy and all of that, because I feel like I'm young and I'm not that well versed as the other Black YouTubers who are older than me, way older than me. But I just really had to talk. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will hopefully talk to you guys later. Bye.